Hi guys. So there have been a lot of people doing the freeform geodes. They look really beautiful. They're just very eye-catching, and this is going to be my first one. Yeah, I have some reservations about how I'm gonna like it, but if I don't try it, I'm not gonna know. So I'm gonna try it. I think I've said in the past, I've done plenty of my share of renovations and furniture refinishing and carpentry. My skills are not too bad. So I thought, well, I'm gonna try playing around with some silicone caulking. I got these, I don't even know, I bought them a few weeks ago. But anyway, it's 100% silicone. And I saw on one of my Facebook groups, somebody was using one of these mats. And you can get them at Michael's. I got this one with my coupon, and I think I paid, yeah, $4 for it. So that's a pretty good deal. I'm willing to give that a try. So it's a mat that you would use for fondant, I should say, in baking. So go into Michael's if you're going there, and go to their baking section, and you can find these, or I guess you can get them on the website too. Anyway, so this is supposed to be something that the silicone caulking is not going to stick to. So I'm not going to make a really big one for my first one, so I'm going to go small. And I'm not even going to have an open center because I have an idea how I want to go with this. So I'm just going to do a free form, and I didn't prime this. I did open it. So let's see if we can get that silicone to come out. I can see it coming there. Yep. All right. So I'm just going to make a free form ring, and going to make sure that I'm making it thick enough, and also making sure that it's really staying on the mat so that I don't have to worry about anything leaking out from underneath. So I'm just going to keep going around here. I read the directions on the caulking tube for this particular brand and product. It said 30-minute dry time, so I'm gonna give it more than that because obviously it's going down thick. I'm doing a nice, it's not like you're trying to seal up your tub or something, or your window where you would have a thin line. So I'm going pretty heavy. Again, I'm really letting it kind of push back at me off of the mat before I move along, because I want it to really be onto that mat. That would give you a lot of trouble if it decides to not stay put. Then you'd have your resin leaking out around the edges, and you know, hey, who knows, it could happen. And that's how I'll learn. So there's my free form, and I know I've got it nice on the board. After you're done, always make sure to release back here, otherwise you'll set down your caulk gun and you'll find a nice little puddle of caulk. Anyway, so that's it. and it's gonna set up for us, and I'm gonna add another ring on top once I know that that is set up and dry. Maybe maybe an hour. I'll check it. Okay. All right, it has been an hour and a half. I tested my first caulk line after about an hour, and I felt like it was not quite ready yet. I had laid it out pretty thick, that first one, so it wasn't surprising that it wasn't ready for me to build onto it. So I just gave it a little bit more time, wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to mess anything up. Again, it's my first time, so, you know, being cautious. And I'm just taking my caulk gun with the tube and going back over top of it with a second layer. I'm not really, you know, trying to go too slow to be exact, just doubling it up and building on that original line, and we'll see how this goes. All right, so here's my form. I'm just putting some glass in. I wanted to let you guys know I did do a third layer of caulk. So I built it up pretty high. I think I had mentioned before that I was worried about the thickness and wanted it to be strong. So I did a total of 3 layers of caulk. So now I've got my glass in the center. Again, I'm looking to be transparent on this piece. I've used some fireplace glass in the middle. I've got some of the crushed glass you can get at Michael's that's a vase filler around that. And now I'm starting to add rings of resin. So the first one I laid down there was white. I went into the middle there with some of the turquoise color I had mixed up. And then again, I really want to keep it transparent, so my colors are light. I did clear over top of the vase filler, and now I'm building in lines of resin with very transparent colors. You can see the matte right through, so it gives you an idea just how transparent those colors are. I've used some pigments that I have. I've used some India inks and some powders, and yeah, I always like to play around with my colors and custom mix everything. So it's, you know, nothing that you can't do too. Just find stuff that you like and play around with it, and you'll get a good feel for it. So I'm just keep on going around in circles. I've sped this up because I think it took me a total of maybe 15 minutes to put all these rings in, and I'm just building and building. I've got about, piece is maybe 5 inches wide by 8 inches wide, so it's not big, and I use Pro-Marine for my resin. You can't pour it too thick or it's going to get too hot and you can get issues with your cure. So I've already committed to the fact that I'm going to be doing this in layers. So I'm using about 3 ounces of resin, that's all, for this first layer. And I'm planning that I'm going to do 2 layers. So it's looking pretty good. I've got some bubbles in here, but I'm going to use the torch and the heat gun to get those out, and it should cure nice. So I'm working on that freeform geode, and I thought I would show you what I got going on with it. I'm still working on it, but it's going pretty good. I put it on top of a piece of glass so that I could move it because my table space is limited. But what I did when I moved it was I forgot to check if my surface was level. Yeah, so I kind of got a swirl in there. It whoops, I came in the shadow. It doesn't look too bad. But yeah, it's there. But you know, this is my first one, so I'm learning on it, and let's show you what it looks like. Pretty teal colors and glass. And again, I wanted it to be transparent, so it got a little darker on me. When I moved it, the stuff went in, but I got some pretty neat effects in there that I'm liking, so I'm hoping it works out for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in. I don't know if you guys can see them. They're transparent little glitter hexagons. Kind of look like fish scales to me. So yeah, I'm going to give that a try in there and go really light on that. So let's see how that works. All right, so I'm going to start in the center. I'm trying to keep it transparent. So I'm going to start in here because I really want that to let the glass shine through. I'm just going to drizzle some clear here. This layer I'm trying to just pretty much build up some more depth to it. Like I said, I'm a little concerned with how something like this can withstand, you know, being on its own, because usually I'm working with the resin on a board or in a piece of jewelry or anything that's going to give it another structure to support it. And in this situation, I don't have it. So I'm back with my colors that I used before. Actually, I'm down a couple of colors because, like I said, I'm trying to keep it transparent. So just using a little bit of color where I want to get it. And also got these sparkles that I'm going to put in there. So let's get some resin on top of those. And I'm just going to stir those through. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they're in there and I'm just stirring. I got a lot of bubbles because I mixed my resin a little on the fast. Quick. But just gonna put this in. Ah, that looks good. I like that. Trying not to do overkill. This is my learning geode freeform, and let's see what it does. Hopefully it does good things. Those look pretty in there, I gotta say that. Okay. And get some more clear on. This side, maybe you guys can see better. I don't know. You know, because I'm going pretty thick with filling up this freeform, it got pretty warm when it was going through its curing process. And that's to be expected because as it cures, it's going to warm up. So I wasn't surprised by that. It held up good. And so hopefully things will keep going my way. And I'm just gonna build up. This is a little bit clearer. It's an aqua color and a little lighter than the one I had put before, but I really want to have those edges to remain dark. So filling this in and it's gonna do its thing. Just like I said, keep that darkness at my edge. That's how I see it working. The way I want it anyway. Now this looks like it's pretty deep already. Not really sure how deep it is, but this in there. Fill up those voids. Okay. Looks good. Let that push. If you can see how it pushes out, right? So that's pretty deep, all in all. I'm liking it. I'm not gonna fiddle with it too much today because it's really pretty much done. A little bit more sparkle over in this spot. So I'm just looking where I think I might need a little something else. Looks good. Maybe just a little bit more of this metallic. It's a pale color, so it's not going to be overkill on anything. And I got some nice effects from it yesterday. Yeah. And then let's torch those bubbles out. Because how quick they blast out of there. And I'm being careful that I'm not getting my caulk too hot too. That's the other thing. I don't need that to melt. So just get that like so. And now I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun. I'm gonna come back and you can see some bubbles starting to form again. So I'm gonna be coming back. What I did yesterday was I came back to it about every 10 minutes and just hit it with the heat gun really light to pop any of the little tiny bubbles, because as it's heating up, those bubbles are coming up. And so I did that, and it dried really clear once it was cured. And I'm gonna go with that method again, and hopefully tomorrow we'll have the big unwrap. And I'm gonna keep it level today. All right, wish me luck. Excited to get a look at the freeform geode. It looked good yesterday when I was working on it, and I'm hoping that it still looks good today. So I didn't look at it, so you guys are gonna look at it with me. I'll do the big unveiling, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully I can pull off that caulk and I've got something pretty to show you guys. And yeah, so let me get it set up. All right, so there it is. I'm gonna put it over on my art table so that I've got some good lighting. And I didn't peek, promise. The big unveiling. Ta-da! I am thrilled with my colors. I like the sparkles. I don't know how good you guys can see. It is what it is. Trying to get it so you guys can see. So, there it is. Still on the mat. Haven't touched it. That was the big unveiling. Ta-da! And now, let's see how it goes coming off of here. Seems pretty stuck on there. Not pretty stuck on there. Cool. So my mat has a little bit of wobble to it. Now I guess from the resin warming the surface. I was careful not to put any nicks in it with the knife or not hit it with the heat gun or the torch. So the wobble in my mat is from the resin. So that's for sure. Let's turn this over. And here's the underside. So got some of the white that I put down is there. And but it's smooth. None of the glass is exposed. So that's good. And I can see through it. So that's good. It's exactly what I wanted. And boy, it's pretty color. Oh, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I gotta say, you know, I was a little bit skeptical about, you know, how am I gonna like this process, but yeah, I think I liked it. And look at how easy the silicone comes off of there. It's just I'm not tugging on that at all. Look at that. That is pretty sweet. Now remember, it was 3 layers of caulk, and I let it dry in between each layer that I ran down. And then on the last one, I tried to smooth out the edge, but I think I should have done that earlier on or something. I don't know. But I don't know how you guys can see it. Maybe if I put it over top of this, but you see that little edge there? I was concerned about that too, but from what I can see, it didn't make any kind of an issue here. So I don't believe you would want to try to reuse a shape. I don't know how the resin might stay in. It might go out from underneath it. But it's, you know, it came off so sweet and easy that it's got its shape again. So maybe you could. Maybe I'll give that a try. I'll be gentle with this and try to reuse it, and let's see if that works. Yeah, why not? All right, so here's the piece, and like I said, I put that white in there, so it's down here, but this would be what I would consider the back side. So that's actually going to create a definition. I can see all the pearlescent in here. I can see the 2 different kinds of glass that I used in here. It's very transparent in the center, and yeah, it's pretty much exactly how I wanted it to turn out. So that's a big happy news for me. Little bit of cleanup because the edges, you know, are a little bit on the sharp side. So what I'll probably do is clean those up and put paint on them. Maybe not, because I kind of like it, but it's just what it is. It's clear all the way through to the edges. It's really, really pretty. It's just, it's fun. Fun. You guys should try this. I'm telling you, it'll make you smile. I'm smiling. Alright, so I took it outside, and it's really bright and sunny out today, so it's really, it's actually kind of warm in the sunshine, but there's the sunshine. And there's the freeform geode. And you can see I didn't clean up the edges yet. I'll have to work on that. Figure out how I'm going to go about doing that. But anyway, there's those pieces of glitter I put in there, the glass. Pretty cool. There's the back side. Neat, huh? And there goes car. So let's see. I'll hold it up. So there you go. What do you think? I like it. I really like it. You see? Ay, ay, ay. Looks like ice cubes in the middle. Pretty neat. Yeah. Do it, guys. Make these. All right. So I have on my handy dandy magnifying glasses and my dust mask, and I've got my handy dandy Dremel, and I'm gonna take down those edges a little bit, see how that works. I've started working on my edges, so you can see what I'm talking about, that it's a little on the jagged side. Sorry if you can't hear me good. I have my dust mask on because I'm still using the Dremel, but I wanted to stop and show you. That's what the edges look like before I use the Dremel. So that you can see they're a little on the jagged side. Just sharp enough that, you know, somebody could get poked. So see how much smoother this is where I've already worked. So I'm just taking down that real jagged edge. Let's turn it this way. See if I can't get it. See? There you go. Much better. It's a little scuffed up, but, oop, there. There we go. But nobody's gonna get stabbed by a piece of glass or sharp resin. So it's just rounding it over, taking that real sharp points off like that. That's sharp. And here, it's already down. Okay? When I'm dremeling, especially when I'm doing something where it's a small item and I can really manipulate it well, I rest the Dremel tool in my lap on top of a towel. Now I'm sanding, so I'm making a lot of dust. I've got my dust mask on to keep me from inhaling any of those fine particles. I'm actually probably grinding glass into the air as well, so don't want to inhale that. That would be really bad news. Not good for my health at all, so make sure you use caution. I also have my glasses on, and that's protecting me as well. So again, be cautious, think about what you're doing, and this worked really good. I could use two hands when I wasn't trying to film for what I was doing for you guys. All right, I'm done with my Dremel, and I'm really pleased with how I finished it off. I didn't want to have a flat surface. Again, I'm kind of trying to make it look as realistic as you can. You know, hey, it's resin. There's dust all over it from dremeling, but I'm going to use alcohol to wipe it all down, get it all cleaned up. It comes off no problem, and the alcohol ensures that there's no oils from my fingers handling it or anything like that. Once I'm done getting it clean, I'm going to be working on another project, and I'll use the leftover resin from that. It'll be clear. I'll just dip my glove fingertip in and rub it across those edges, and it'll put that gloss right back on, and it'll look really sweet. Well, it's all finished. I'm out in the backyard filming in the bright light of day, and I can't tell you how much I enjoyed doing this little project. Again, it was my first attempt, and it just went so easy. I hope you guys try it. I really had fun, and thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know, and leave me a note. If you like what I've done, please tell me. I love to hear from you all. Thanks!